The hearings by the Senate Judiciary Committee for the confirmation of Sonia Sotomayor are really turning into, I'm not sure what. I'm not sure what. The white male Republicans on this committee are making a few things real clear. I should say the white male Christian Republicans on this committee. They don't like women. Their entire religion is based on the ugliness and horror of women, what women have done. So their religion is, that's a foundational principle of the Christian faith. I don't care where it's practiced. I don't care what denomination. That's a foundational principle that women brought evil into the world, and God punished women by setting them into painful childbirth for the rest of eternity. That's how sick this particular religion is. Mixed up with that southern Christianity, that mouth-breathing, snake-handling, tambourine-shaking southern Christianity, is also the bigotry against women in general. Because, as Brother Dave said one time, women, they have always possessed what men have always been seeking. In addition to the bigotry, there is also the fact that a very white man like Jefferson Beauregard Sessions III, that is his name, Beauregard, Jefferson Beauregard Sessions III, he cannot handle the fact that sitting in front of him is a colored woman. That's right, a colored woman. Now, in the first place, being female, she unleashed all the evil on earth because she wouldn't do what God told her to do. Leave the tree alone. Secondly, the fact that she is a colored female. Worse yet, from New York. And worse yet, her parents spake a different language other than good old American. I mean, this guy is unbelievable. Jefferson Beauregard Sessions. Now, the whole wise Latina comment that this candidate made in the context of something having nothing to do with her nomination or her judging or she was making, there was a time, wasn't there? Maybe there wasn't. There was a time, though, when a wise woman was looked upon as someone who had power, someone who, now granted, it would have been in pagan societies, certainly not in early Christian societies, certainly not in early Jewish societies, with one or two exceptions, certainly not in Muslim societies, and we always on this program focus on the people of the book, but women have always been denied their power. Now, how many, was it 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 during the 16th and 17th century, women who were burned at the stake across Europe and then eventually here in this country? Tens of thousands of women were accused of being witches, and they were burned, murdered, drowned, forced to stay in their houses where their houses were set on fire. There has always been something about the wise woman. Well, Jesus, God in heaven, didn't Sonia Sotomayor hit all the buttons at once? A woman who judges? Someone who is, now, don't talk to me about the two previous women on the Supreme Court. It doesn't matter. We are talking about a colored woman here. And we are talking about white males on the Senate Judiciary Committee who are terrified. I watched, Lindsey Graham is slick. I'm not really including Lindsey Graham, although his questioning today really kind of pissed me off. Sleazy little oily Lindsey Graham. like he was prosecuting a case, like he was seeking a life sentence for jaywalking or something. It was incredible. But Jefferson Beauregard Sessions III, the junior United States Senator from the great state of Alabama, and the new ranking member of the Senate Judiciary Committee. That's right. Keep this in mind. Now our inspector bailed. If the Republicans were ever to get control of the Senate again, well, this little turd is has his seat. He would become the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee. How much do you know about him? Huh? He served as an assistant U.S. attorney for the Southern District of Alabama in 75, 76, and 77. Then he was nominated by Ronald Reagan in 1981 to serve as United States attorney for Alabama Southern District. I just said that. No, 1981. He was assistant United States attorney. Then he was nominated to be the United States attorney. He held that position for 12 years. In 1986, and this is where some of Jefferson Beauregard Sessions III, some of his acid starts to leave. You can understand where some of his acid came from. He was nominated for a federal judgeship by Ronald Reagan. The nomination was killed by the Senate Judiciary Committee, the committee he sits on now, which refused by a 9-9 vote. It was a tie to let the nomination come to the Senate floor for a vote. Jefferson Beauregard Sessions III's opponents accused him of gross insensitivity on racial issues. Jefferson Sessions allegedly made a variety of comments that opponents pointed to when he said that the KKK was not so bad until he found out that some of them smoked marijuana. Sessions also referred to the NAACP and the ACLU as two organizations that were un-American and communist-inspired because, quote, they force civil rights down the throats of people, end quote. At his confirmation hearing, Sessions said the groups, the NAACP and the ACLU, could be un-American when, quote, they involved themselves in un-American positions, end quote. One of those voting against him was the Democratic senator of Alabama at the time, Howell Heflin. Sessions was quoted then as saying that the Senate on occasion had been insensitive to the rights and reputation of nominees like him. And then after joining the Senate Judiciary Committee, Sessions remarked that his presence there, alongside several of the members who voted against him, was to Jefferson Beauregard Sessions III a, quote, great irony, end quote. This guy is a punk. He's one of those diminutive in every way, in stature, in intelligence, in sensitivity, in compassion, a diminutive little man, one of those little white boys that is produced always in Mississippi or Alabama. We have our crackers here, and so do they over in South Carolina. But Alabama and Mississippi just seems to turn out, especially Alabama, I don't know what it is, some of the most outrageously ridiculous punks, white boys who wind up in the Senate or wind up in positions of power. And if you sat Jefferson Beauregard Sessions III down and tried to have a conversation with him, the son of a bitch probably couldn't even talk because his mouth would be just so full of grits and catfish he wouldn't know. But the thing is, he's got to vote on that there colored woman.